Imagine loving someone so deeply that you gave them everything, your youth, your loyalty, your future, only to discover they were secretly building a life with someone else. Most people explode in rage, but I didn't. I smiled and started building a plan so devastating it would leave her with nothing but regret. The judge slammed the gavel, and just like that, I had the house, full custody of our kids, and nearly everything we'd built together. My wife? She walked out of that courtroom with nothing but the man she'd cheated with. You want to know how I pulled this off? Let me take you back, because this revenge was years in the making. But here's the twist. This wasn't a quick reaction. I waited, I played the long game, and every step was calculated. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted more than anyone, you know that gut punch feeling. So if you've ever dreamed of serving cold, calculated justice to someone who thought they could play you, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll ever hear. I met her in college. She wasn't just beautiful, she was magnetic. The kind of woman who made a room stop when she walked in. She noticed me, quiet, awkward, broke me, and somehow decided I was worth her time. We fell hard. Within a few years, we were married. I worked my tail off to provide. Late nights, double shifts, taking freelance gigs just to keep the lights on and food on the table. And I thought she appreciated it. Until the signs started to show. Have you ever ignored your gut because you didn't want to face the truth? That was me. Until one text shattered everything. The work meetings that ran too late. The phone that was always face down. The sudden coldness when I'd walk in the room. My gut screamed at me, but my heart refused to believe it. Until one night she slipped up. A text popped up on her phone while she was in the shower. Just 6 words. Last night was amazing, can't wait. My chest tightened. My hands shook. I wanted to confront her right then, scream, demand answers. But instead, I froze. And then something inside me shifted. I thought, if she thinks I'm a fool, fine. Let her think that. I'll play the long game. From that day forward, I became an actor in my own marriage. I smiled when she smiled. I pretended to believe her stories. I nodded when she told me she had to stay late. But behind that mask, I was working. Every credit card statement, every bank transfer, every hotel receipt, I saved them. I learned how to pull phone records. I made copies of emails. Every little slip I documented. And the more she lied, the more I smiled. Because she had no idea I was building a case that would destroy her. Years passed. I watched her grow more careless, more bold. She'd laugh at her phone while I sat across the dinner table. She'd vanish for weekends, calling it girls' trips. And every time she betrayed me, I didn't get angry. I got calmer. Because my case against her was getting bulletproof. One night she came home reeking of cologne that wasn't mine. She didn't even try to hide it. She tossed her purse on the couch, kissed me on the cheek, and went straight to bed. I stood there in the dark living room, staring at the purse, listening to her footsteps fade upstairs. That's when I made the decision. I wouldn't just leave her. I'd take everything. Over the next year, I quietly met with a divorce lawyer. I laid out the evidence, years of texts, hotel bills, emails, even a signed receipt from a weekend getaway she'd taken with him. My lawyer's eyes widened. You realize, she said, this is one of the cleanest cases of marital misconduct I've ever seen. If you want, you'll walk away with the house, custody, and most of the assets. That sentence was all I needed. I doubled down. I didn't just want out, I wanted her crushed. So I kept acting. I kept smiling. I even planned a vacation with her and the kids just to throw her off the scent, all while my lawyer prepared the perfect ambush. Finally, the day came. Papers were filed. She was blindsided. I'll never forget her face when she was served confusion, then panic. But the real show was in court. Her lawyer tried to paint me as neglectful, claiming I was cold and distant. Then my lawyer stood up and dropped the bombshell. Binder hundreds of pages of proof. Every text, every receipt, every email. The courtroom went silent. Everyone knew the truth, and there was no escape for her. The judge flipped page after page. My wife's face went from red to pale to hollow. When the verdict was read, I felt a rush of something I can only describe as justice. I got the house. Full custody of the kids, the lion's share of the assets. And her? She got nothing but the guy she thought was her golden ticket. Here's the kicker. The guy dumped her a few weeks later. Turns out he didn't want the baggage. He just wanted the thrill. So there she was, homeless, broke, abandoned. The same woman who once laughed behind my back was now begging for help. And me? I never raised my voice. Never threw a punch. I just let time and patience do the work for me. As I walked out of that courtroom with my kids, I felt lighter than I had in years. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, patient, precise, and when it lands, it's devastating. And here's the real question. Could you have waited years for revenge? Or would you have confronted her the moment you found out? If there's one thing I learned, it's this: betrayal cuts deep. But the best revenge isn't screaming or fighting. It's making sure the person who broke you ends up with nothing while you walk away stronger than ever. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments. Would you have had the patience to wait years like I did, or would you have confronted her right away? And of course, subscribe for more real-life revenge stories that prove karma always comes around.